Mayor Van Johnson here, the mayor of Savannah. Appreciate you being with us. Obviously, we had Mr. Walker on for a little while and offered equal time to your side of the table. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
I'll start with the exact same question I started with Herschel Walker. What is the one moment of the debate tonight that you hope that undecided voters in Georgia remember?
I think the most important part is where we were talking about specifics. It's one thing to talk about very lofty goals about what you would do, but when you talk about things that have actually been done, I think that's what voters in Georgia were waiting for, an opportunity. We've heard a bunch of commercials.
Is it what's been done by Raphael Warnock and by Democrats in Washington, or
Absolutely.
is this by what's the specifics that Herschel Walker talked about?
I think it's specifics by what Senator Warnock has done. He has a record now. And so he's been in an election every year for the last 3 years, very short time through some of the most challenging times that our country's ever known. And yet you've seen his influence already in the national dialogue, also in legislation that helps people here in my city.
Fair enough. We want to point out to our viewers at home that the mayor is actually also on Facebook. Is this Facebook Live?
Yes, Facebook
so
Live.
Every Friday night since the pandemic started, the mayor has gone on Facebook Live, and he said he'd be happy to do an interview with us, but we could not interrupt that. So
154 weeks.
154
Absolutely.
weeks, and his viewers are all along with us for the ride.
That's right.
We appreciate
Thank
that. Turn on NewsNation. You can watch the interview.
That's right.
This came up, and I think it's interesting. As you watch the debate, Raphael Warnock wanted to frame this in many ways as a referendum on Herschel Walker,
sure.
right? And his fitness for office.
Sure.
Herschel Walker wants to frame this as a referendum on Biden.
Right.
Is that fair?
I think, it's politics. I mean, obviously, you are trying to frame your issue where it is. Again, I think that Senator Warnock has a record. And so here you heard about specifics of a record. The fact that Senator Warnock voted 96% with President Biden.
How is President Biden's record and Senator Warnock's record not the same thing?
I don't know. Well, I don't think it's 96% of the time. So obviously, it's not 100% of the time. So I mean, we've seen opportunities, particularly when looked at base closures here in Savannah. Certainly with insulin, where Senator Warnock pushed back on the president. I mean, I think that, obviously you're in the same party, you have the same ideological goals, but the reality is even sometimes people with the same ideology sometimes disagree. Sure. And so I think I've been proud that the senator has pushed back, even on the president of the United States, to say we can do more, we can do better. More importantly, also the bipartisan work with the infrastructure bill, with the Inflation Reduction Act. You've shown opportunities where people can work together, and he's shown the opportunity to do that.
There were 2 points tonight where Senator Warnock really didn't answer specific questions. One on the issue of abortion in particular. Is that a problem for undecided voters in that Herschel Walker seems very comfortable, agree or disagree with them, laying out very clear lines? I
think he was very clear in his answer for abortion. He said very clearly that he felt like that we should not, the government should not have a role in the personal health decisions of women. I think you can't get any clearer than that. Obviously,
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, Mr. Walker, was very clear in his. I think people have to decide. I mean, I think that becomes a philosophical argument. Should the government be involved in the health care decisions of women? And should men make those decisions?
What do you make of how low Mr. Walker set the bar for himself? He set the expectations very, very, very
he did,
low.
And he didn't disappoint. I mean, he played down to those expectations.
So you don't think he had a good night, in fairness?
I mean, I think he did the best he could. I mean, you heard the same things over and over again about the 96%. Okay, fine, 96%. You heard about the issues of religion. Obviously, sometimes I think they got a little personal. Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I think finally Georgians, and in my case, Savannahans, had a chance to hear at least a little more extensively from both candidates, as opposed to the ads that have just been dominating our TV station. We want our TVs back.
Well, you may not get them for at least another month if there's a runoff.
Right. Well, I don't think. Hopefully, we won't have to go there.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.